Hello, everyone. You're listening to the I Go with Ego podcast, bringing you guests with first-hand experience in studying abroad and seizing personalities, excelling in the workforce. We want you to own your journey and be the best you can be. Now presenting your host, Ego Kelly Ekakite.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the I Go with Ego podcast. I'm super excited because I have a very special guest here, my very good friend, Lonni Helm. Lonni, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, so glad to be here. I'm doing good today.
That's good to know. It's a beautiful day out today after the crazy snow. It's so good outside.
Yeah, it's so nice to finally be able to go outside without 6 layers on.
Right. I can imagine it was so bad last week. Well, thank God for a good weather today.
Yes.
Anyways, welcome to the show. Could you tell my audience something about you, something exciting, something people would love to know about you?
Yeah, so like I said, my name's Lonni. I'm from Springfield, Missouri, which is a small town in the south part of Missouri. And an exciting thing about me, I am a playwriting major, and I am currently working on a new play. Very exciting, very excited about it.
That's great. Of course, when you have something new, it's always exciting. So I look forward to it. All right. So it's Black History Month. It's one of the best months in the world. I tell people every day is Black History Day. I don't want to know what anyone thinks, but for me, it's every day, But what does Black History Month mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, Springfield is a predominantly white town. And like we don't really, at least in like my experience in like elementary school, we didn't really ever talk about like famous Black people outside of Black History Month. So it was kind of always a time to learn more about the important Black people throughout history, which obviously there are a ton. And then now it definitely is more of a time to, especially in the current like political climate, really be uplifting Black voices and Black creators and Black business owners and every like just any type of person. Like that is kind of what's been my like focal point for the month.
That's good to hear. Of course, I schooled in Springfield too, your town, and that's where my community college was in. I spent almost 3 years in Springfield. It's very predominantly white, but it's a cool small town in Missouri here. So, anyways, what does this celebration represent for not just you but for Black Americans?
I think it's a chance for Black Americans to really take the center stage. I mean, once again, like I just historically, Black Americans have kind of been pushed to the side. And so Black History Month really is a chance for us to be at the forefront. And I mean, we only get 1 month a year for that. And it's the shortest month of the year. So I think it is so important to really be pushing it and to be, once again, especially in the political climate today, to be pushing for like social justice, Black Lives Matter, anything like that. Especially, it's important to do that all the time, but especially during this month.
Yeah, it's important to do that. When I came to America, I didn't know much about the Black Wall Street, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I didn't know about Rosa Parks, the mother of the freedom movement, and so many Black people. And to tell you that they've done so much in history that it's so painful to me that we don't hear these voices. We don't hear the names every single day. There should be people that we ought to sing their praise for what they've done for us, bringing us to this light and bringing us to such a time as this, where we can, walk the streets to some extent freely compared to where it was before. Anyways, what challenges, yes, do Black American women face today? Now, looking at women specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a philosophy student, so I've studied Kimberly Crenshaw specifically. She came up with a theory of intersectionality, and it kind of, I mean, I am very against like playing any type of oppression Olympics or anything like that. But historically, Black women are one of the most marginalized groups, being both Black and women. And Black women have been at the backbone of our society for such a long time. It is so important to recognize their contributions. And I mean, even outside of people like Rosa Parks, like there are so many wonderful Black women throughout history, and yet the only ones I ever really learned about in school were like Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman. And there are hundreds of thousands of Black women who have done so much for society. And like Black women are targeted in so many ways, and receive so much hate and are have such negative stereotypes about them that it makes it difficult just to live everyday life without constantly being guarded. And I think like the biggest thing that like we as a society can do to like uplift and to support Black women is just to listen to them. Like it's pretty simple. You just have to listen to them and hear what they're saying and make changes based off of that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree. And people say now that the election of our first female vice president, it's what we call breaking the glass ceiling to a large extent that maybe Hillary Clinton couldn't break then when she ran for president. So, what does it mean for so many young women that our vice president is the first female and she happens to be Black? And that's exciting. So, what does it mean to women?
Yeah, it is so exciting. I mean, I remember like when I was a little kid, and Obama was elected in 2008. I was 7 years old, and I remember that. So I can't imagine like being a little girl now and looking and being able to see that and realize like it really does make you realize that things are changing. One, which is so important that that children realize that and realize that they have the power to enact change. And then two, it also just shows that you really can go do anything you want to. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that women, and especially Black women, weren't even allowed to like have jobs outside of the home or to own a home without being married. And that progress and being able to show that is so, so important for young women to see that. Because it really, like it, especially being a young girl, it can be really hard. You don't necessarily always feel like you can do what you want. You're kind of told that you can't by society, sometimes even by individuals. And so I think just being able to have her as an example is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's exciting. Even, and don't forget, it was Black women that made this happen. Black women all across the country, the voting and going out there and, turning in votes. And it's exciting. Even though I can't vote, it's such a privilege to be able to see these wonderful women, Black women, everyone just going out there to do the best and make the country move forward, which we do need. It is exciting. So I have a personal question for you. Of course, you're a Black woman. In your life on earth and the experiences you've had, what has been the most difficult part for you being a Black lady?
Yeah, so I definitely think the most difficult part for me has been like figuring out what my Black experience is. So I am biracial, and I have never really had a very good relationship with my dad, who is the Black side of my family. So I have spent a lot of time since becoming an adult trying to get in touch with that side and to reconnect with my culture in that way. And then as a Black woman, like you walk a very thin line sometimes.
True.
Because some people, for me at least, I've been told, I don't even know how many times, like, oh, well, you're not really Black, or you're the whitest Black person I know. I used to get that all the time, which is so awful. But then at the same time, like you're also sometimes too Black, and it's like you're very much on the edge of being like okay to some people. And so figuring out how to navigate that in a way that doesn't make you just want to scream is definitely something that has been a bit of a challenge.
Well, it's I think where we are now in the world, things can only get better. And that's why we have the movement, the Me Too movement. It's such a wonderful time where all of us, boys and men, we have to be very extremely careful. The way we talk to women, the way we handle women, the way we respond to people, not just women alone, because everything you do and everything you say is under the microscope, which is important, which is the way it should be right from time. Because there's no dissimilarity between a man and a woman. Everyone is equal, and we ought to have equal rights. And that's just my opinion. I'm not the government, but that's what I hope. That's what I feel. Anyways, you've heard from my friend Lonni. We'll be right back from the short break. When we come back from the short break, Lonni will tell us more about the experience in Webster University, and she will tell us more about what her next step will be. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the short break. We still have my very good friend here, Lonni Helm. Lonni, she's a wonderful person. I'm so grateful to have her here on the show on this wonderful month of the Black History, and she happens to tell us what Black History means to her. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting you here at Webster University, and I instantly knew you were a powerhouse. So when I saw you, like, oh yeah, she's a powerhouse. Yeah, she's a powerhouse, and a role model to so many people. So how important is education for young people today? And do you want to share your experience in Webster University?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. That's so sweet.
You're welcome.
I think education is extremely important. I mean, my mom has been an educator. She's an educator throughout my entire childhood. And so that was definitely something that was always very important to me and very important to my life. And I love learning. Like I have always loved it. I was a bit of a nerd in high school, but I think that like education can do so much. It can truly change your life. And the wonderful thing about it is that it is so available in America. Even higher education, not as much, but I went to public school in the United States, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Like I think that is so wonderful that it is so important to our society. And then for Webster, so I originally came to Webster for playwriting solely. There's only about 12 universities in the country that offer playwriting as an undergraduate degree. I applied to, I think, 10 of them. And when I came to Webster, I got to talk to some of the faculty, and I really understood that I was going to have a very personal experience with them. And that was just really something that I really, really wanted. I think especially, really in any degree, but especially in one that is more creative, it is so beneficial to have someone who knows you as a person and who knows your work as yours and not just as a number or as a name. I'm currently in a class where with a professional playwright from Dallas, Texas, and she reached out to me and was like, send me your work. I will read through it for you and look at it. And I think that's the case in most majors at Webster, that there are always people who are willing to go the extra mile for you. And I think that is so special and so hard to find.
Yeah, I agree. And just so you all know, we work together, and she happens to be my senior in the job. So I look up to her, and I'm still learning from her to get to the level she is in the job we do for Webster University. So yeah, all right. So what courses are you passionate about? What areas is in the human rights? What courses are very passionate to you?
Yeah, so I'm definitely very passionate about human rights, as well as environmentalism. That is one of my great passions. I have grew up going camping and going hiking. It's one of my favorite activities now. And so I think that that is so, so important and so vital. And there are so many other things and human rights issues tied to environmentalism. It all ties back to that, whether it's food security or environmental racism, anything like that. I'm also very passionate about mental health. I've struggled with my mental health in the past, and I know how debilitating that can be. I'm also very, very passionate about domestic violence. I think that it is a huge problem throughout the world, and it is not. Once again, this ties all back to being a woman. That constantly having to be afraid and constantly having to be on your guard. I also understand that feeling. And so I'm very passionate about helping women who have been in situations like that.
Yeah, and like I tell all my female friends, there's anything I can do at all times, call me. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., just call me. I'll do my best to be there. And it just boils down to everyone, spreading love, and respect, and reminding people that we're all humans, whether male or female, we're all humans, and we are under one sky and one, blue sky and rainforest and everybody, and we all have the same blood. So we have to love everybody and respect each other. All right. So do you want to remind people out there how important their voices are?
I've always thought your voice is the one thing that can't be taken away from you. It is so, so important to share your own personal story and your own views. And even and I mean this for everybody, people I don't agree with, I think it is so important. Free speech is so, so important as long as it is not hate speech.
True.
but like your voice is who you are, and it's your experience, and it's how you can help others understand you more. And however you feel comfortable getting that out, whether it is through something like creative writing, like poetry, or plays, or whether it's through prose, or even just like speaking and talking to one another. It is so, so important to learn the stories of others, because that's how you grow as a person. That's how you change yourself, is by meeting other people, and talking to them and forming those bonds and connections. And I mean, like you were saying, we all are connected, whether we want to be or not. Sometimes
Right.
we all are connected, and it is so important to remember that.
Mm. All right. Well, thank you for that. That was powerful. Thank you so much for that. Now, for a young Black kid finishing from high school and maybe a first generation student that wants to come to a university, why should they choose Webster?
I mean, Webster, especially if you're living in the Midwest and you don't
Mhm.
necessarily have, it can be very expensive to move out of state, or
True.
to move out of, like, into a different portion of the country. Webster is a very accepting university, and comparatively, to other universities in St. Louis and Missouri, is very diverse, which is very nice. And they really have a lot of resources to help you, if maybe you're uncomfortable being in white spaces. I know that's something I've really struggled with. Um, like our Multicultural International Student Association are wonderful. They have so many different resources. We have a ton of Black organizations on campus, that are really wonderful support groups. Like just thinking of one is the Association for African American Women. Like they are wonderful. They do such great work. Um, so I think that like if that's something you're nervous about and that's something you're afraid of, Webster's a wonderful place for that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because we're here and we're living the experience. So absolutely. All right. So what's next for you? What's next for you, and what's your message to young people out there?
Yeah, so I am currently studying to take the LSAT to go to law school
Ooh,
in about a
yes.
year. Yes, very exciting, very
Yes.
scary. So I think, which is something I honestly never thought I would do. I did not think that was going to be my path in life. So I guess my biggest piece of advice would be to keep an open mind and to follow your passions, and to recognize that, like, I mean, I love playwriting. I will always love theater. The arts have such a special place in my heart. But recognizing that just because you like something, you can like other things. That's okay.
True.
And it's okay to like have that just be something you do, and to have something else be your job. That was something that took me a little while to realize, but keeping an open mind is so important when you're going through a college experience.
Absolutely. Well, I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be one of the best lawyers, the best attorneys, and you go and keep moving in your career. I have no doubt, and I hope that we'll still be best friends then, and I can get to meet you. Like, oh, I know Lonnie. That's Lonnie. Hi, Lonnie. Well, yeah. So I wish you all the best in your future. I know you do great. I know you do great.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, do you have any shout outs to anybody, any friends, any family, anybody at all? Shout outs?
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to my mom. She's
Awesome.
made me who I am today,
Yes,
as
mom.
well as my Aunt Sue and my grandmother and my Aunt Patty. I was very lucky to grow up around such strong women, and they really have helped mold me into the person I am today.
Yeah, and just remember now, next month is it's Women's Month,
Yeah.
March. So of course, shout out to all our moms out there, the ladies out there. Thank you all for all you do for us, crazy men and nice men, and all the stubborn men and all the stubborn boys. Thank you all so much. Well, Lonnie, you've heard from everyone. You've heard from my friend Lonnie. She's the best there is. She's a wonderful person, a very nice person, very intelligent person. Someone I look up to at all times when I see her at work and everywhere. Thank you for joining me today. I am very, 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 very grateful, Lonnie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, everybody, you've heard from her. Please, please, please be safe out there. We still have COVID-19 out there. Wear your mask, social distance. When it's your time to take the vaccine, please take the vaccine. It's important, and just be safe and keep a good mind for everybody. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day.